I hope that everyone is having a great afternoon. My name is Brandon, and this is Study Placer, the future of student task management. So what is one thing that we all have in common? We all have to manage our time. For some, that comes super naturally, but for others, managing their time can be more burdensome than actually doing the work itself. So let's look at a couple of the most common ways that people manage their time and tasks. So first, we have the standard to-do list. And the one pictured here is the one that millions of students see every day in their Canvas app. And this is great because most of the time this is automatically updated with tasks and assignments. But just by looking at this, I have no idea how long all of this is going to take or when I actually need to work on it. Now, conversely, we have the traditional calendar. And this is great because just by looking at it, I know exactly what I need to work on and when I need to work on it. But this offers very little flexibility and requires a lot of effort not only to create, but also to maintain. That's why I've created Study Placer. Study Placer works by integrating directly with the student's LMS. So what is an LMS? Well, LMS stands for Learning Management System, and this is the service that almost every school and university uses to manage and distribute course materials for their students. So Study Placer is able to automatically import all of the students' assignments. It estimates how important each assignment is and how long that assignment should take that student to complete. They can then edit that data, but if they like the way it looks, they can simply swipe on the assignment, and that assignment will be split into multiple parts if it's a longer assignment and pushed to the home list. Now, unlike a traditional to-do list, where assignments are only really placed on the day that they're due, Study Placer optimally places the assignments for the students rather than on that day that they're due. Additionally, students can also vary their workload throughout the week with the study EQ. So what makes this unique? Well, I've already touched on the automation and integration features, and these are awesome and fairly unique to this industry. But in addition to this, Study Placer does not operate on the traditional calendar format where tasks are designated to a specific hour on a specific day. Rather, Study Placer gives a student an overview of what they need to be working on for the entire day, how long that should take, and how important that is, so they can then manage their schedule around that. In addition to this, because assignments are typically not placed on the day that they're due, Study Placer allows for a lot of easy flexibility. So what are the solutions that students are currently using? Well, the first three that I have listed here are some of the major LMSs in the college and high school space. And once again, these offer that standard to-do list format. And this is great because all the assignments are already right there. And this is what most students are using. But they offer very little customization or time management options by default. Now, a lot of students also use traditional note-taking devices like Apple Notes or sticky notes. And just like the calendar, these are great because they offer a nearly virtual blank slate for how that student wants to manage their time. But just like that calendar example from earlier, these require a lot of manual input. Every assignment has to be transcribed over, and if something happens, that has to be updated manually. Now, I have another example here, and this example, Motion Calendar, is indicative of the emerging AI calendar space. And this is becoming a really big industry, especially in the business space. But these are, as I mentioned before, business-focused, and they often come with a hefty monthly price tag. In addition to this, they still stick to that rigid calendar format. And while they offer a lot of flexibility, assignments and tasks are still designated to a specific time slot on a specific day. Now, during the development, I actually interviewed about 30 students. And from these, I learned that around 72% of students don't really like how their current LMS manages their schoolwork. And on top of this, 44% already use some sort of external assignment tool or some sort of external tool to manage their schoolwork. And this is really exciting because it means that students are open to exploring third-party options. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I launched the initial beta of Study Placer. And while the results are still rolling in, of students that used the app and completed the exit survey, I received an average score of 8 out of 10 for the intuitiveness of the app and 9 out of 10 for the helpfulness of the app. In addition to this, every student who used the app and completed the exit survey indicated that they'll continue to use the beta and that they will be downloading Study Placer once it's fully available. Now, I started coding Study Placer back in October of 2023 while I was still in college. And pretty quickly, I saw that this was something that could really help students and a business opportunity to boot. So from there, I started interviewing students, I formed the business, and in July of this year, after graduating, I actually went full-time. So I'm fully committed to seeing Study Placer through. And just 2 weeks ago, I launched the initial beta. Now, to date, I've received about $25,000, or exactly $25,000, in the form of a safe investment from CoBuilders. And this has allowed me to continue building and expanding this project. In addition to that, I've received $5,250 in non-dilutive funding. Now, With that $25,000, I plan to continue building the Study Placer app. As I mentioned, right now it's in beta, and I plan to soft launch on iOS in January, continue vetting and improving the app for a full launch in February, and then I'll vet and run marketing campaigns to really dial that in. From there, in May, I hope to have 200 weekly active users, and then in June, from that user feedback, I hope to build out and develop a premium tier based on what users are willing to pay and what features they deem compelling, and that'll launch in June of 2026. Now, by this point, I hope to receive additional investment, and this will allow me to hire an engineer, scale the marketing to campuses across the country, and begin working on a university-targeted platform. I'll then be seeking future investment to fully build out this university platform, and by March of 2027, I hope to have 10,000 weekly active users. Now, let's circle back to that university platform a bit, and this is really where I want to take Study Placer. But to do this, I need to show value through positive outcomes, I need to build a robust and compliant platform, and I need to generate positive user feedback. Now, this industry is notoriously hard to get into, and that's why I'm starting with students today, so that I can prove these things and develop this platform with these universities for something that I can then sell to them on a contract basis. Now, I'm planning to raise $300,000, and this will buy me a 12-month runway for a highly scalable app that I plan to de-risk through university licensing. And this is a quick breakdown of how I plan to allocate those funds between development, marketing, administration cost, and miscellaneous cost. Now, that's not all. Study Placer has a lot of opportunities and applications in other spaces. One that I've received a lot of feedback on is a two-part parent-student solution, where a kindergarten through sixth grade student would have a version of Study Placer on their device that integrates with the lower-level LMS systems, and then their parent would have a paid version of Study Placer on their device that would allow them to track and monitor their students' academic progress and workload. In addition, I've also spoken to a number of business professionals that indicate that they really like how their calendar apps function on their computers, but they don't translate very well to mobile, and they would like to see a solution implemented in that space that allows them to more flexibly and easily manage their time from the device that they use the most. Now, why am I targeting students first? Well, currently there's a surprising lack of compelling student-focused task management options. The data in this space is also very accessible. Almost every student uses an LMS, and these can be relatively easily integrated with. The market is also very accessible with large student populations at every university, and students are in the prime years of habit formation. So if they build their routine around Study Placer, as Study Placer grows, they can grow with it. Now, to target this audience, I plan to market through a combination of campus engagement, short-form content, brand ambassadors, faculty relationships, and targeted advertisements. Now, to monetize this, Study Placer will be launched as a freemium model. So the core app with the basic features will be widely available on iOS. I am building out a premium tier, which will be priced between $2 and $5 a month to target a compelling value proposition for students. And this will include features like web access, AI voice inputs, and other advanced options. As Study Placer grows, other revenue streams open up through contract-based business-to-business university licensing. Now, if we take a look at the market for just the initial iOS Study Placer app, there's around 20 million college students in the US, and 10.8 million of those students are undergrad, use an iOS device, and regularly use an LMS. And I believe that around 3 million of those could significantly benefit from Study Placer. And because of that, while we're still small, I'm targeting about 300,000 students. And with the premium tier priced at $4 a month and an industry standard conversion rate of 3.2%, this yields $460,000 in annual recurring revenue as a base before getting into that revenue stream of university licensing. And I believe that as Study Placer grows and expands, there's actually a number of compelling exit opportunities to existing business task managers who wish to build out their mobile solutions and to ed tech companies looking to build out a better software ecosystem for universities. So my name is Brandon Cooper. I've been building Study Placer solo. I was an undergraduate student at Mississippi State University. I majored in computer science with concentration in artificial intelligence. I recently graduated, and now I'm pursuing this full time. And in addition to that, during high school, I actually built a social media brand to over 90,000 followers, so I do have a fair bit of experience in what organic content creation looks like. My finance intern is Cade Sanders, and he has helped me significantly with a lot of the financial projections for this business. Advising me of this venture are Dr. Martler, Dr. Walker, Trevor Acey, and Bruce Deere, who have helped me a significant amount through this entire process. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope that we can build the future of task management together. Do you have any questions? For like Google Classroom? Or?
More of an Android version.
So right now, the data suggests, actually I believe it was a UCF study, 85% of students in college actually use iOS devices. And if you look at the statistics breakdown between iOS and Android users are actually about twice as likely to spend money on in-app purchases. So the market limitation by focusing on iOS right now is relatively small. And in addition to that, it allows the development to be much more streamlined, and it allows me to create a much better and more compelling product quicker and with less resources. But as I build out those university platforms, they will require better compliance and multi-platform support, like the Android platform that you're discussing there.
How does the app know how long those assignments take?
So there is an on-device machine learning model that tokenizes the assignment title, how many points it's worth, which course it's in, and any details that come along with that. And it actually puts that together to project how long that should take. And it may take me a minute to click through all my slides here, but on some of the initial screenshots, you'll be able to see what those suggested times look like. And they're generally pretty accurate, but if that's not accurate for the student, they can tap the assignment, there's a quick scroll wheel, and they can simply adjust that before pushing it to the home list. There we go. So I don't know how clear they are here, but we have like a quiz 2. That's about 30 minutes. That's a pretty accurate time there. And then we have a project proposal. Not a full project, but still something that would take a little bit longer, and it estimates that to take about 2 hours.
Who do you see as required? What exit status do you see?
So right now it's about building the compelling features and building this mobile platform, building the technology behind it. As far as specific acquirers, there's a number of companies in the edtech space that could look to build out a software portfolio, or there's a number of companies in the task management space that could be wanting to move into more of the mobile side. Right now, that's something that I guess would rely more on the market positioning of StudyPlacer at the time that an exit would be considered.
If you're raising $400,000, when do you expect break even?
So I'm actually looking for $300,000 right now, and the current financial projections put that at about 3 years, and that's simply because the bulk of that revenue is from these contract-based university integrations, and it's about building out the core technology and really refining that on the front end to have that value on the back end. And then from there, revenue does increase pretty substantially once those contracts start coming in and once more students adopt the platform.
Have you had any conversations with online education programs and how this might help the student that has a job as well as trying to manage their courseload?
So currently I've been more focused on the traditional college student, and I think that that's a wonderful avenue to explore. And for me right now, it's about keeping the scope limited enough that the execution is feasible, especially at this stage. But no, I think that that's a wonderful expansion opportunity. I've actually spoken to a number of graduate students that did have employment during their graduate tenure, and they have indicated that something like this would be helpful there. Although with students that are doing more online degree-based programs or graduate programs, the workload is a little bit different. And so managing that would require some tweaks to really refine it for that specific student.
Does it learn your habits?
So right now, the model is purely based on like a tokenization of the features of the assignment, the title, the description, the points, the course, stuff like that. And what I'm working to build out is a model that does actually learn by user habits. So the user can go in and adjust those things, and that's something that I'm working towards, is building that out in a way that it does learn and it does adapt.
Have you explored any K through 12 opportunities?
So with K through 12, that kind of gets into the two-part parent-student solution that I discussed. And I think that that's a very valuable market, especially marketing to the parents who have more disposable income, who are more likely to spend a monthly subscription fee on something that helps their child with academic success. But with that market, there's also a lot more restrictions in terms of FERPA and compliances that need to be accounted for, whereas the upper education market is a little bit more open and it's a little bit more accessible at this current time.
I don't know, maybe it's just because I saw the previous application, but I can't help but like think that potentially there's a synergy between this and Magnolia and somehow. Like where she's talking about, does it learn your habits? Well, this might prevent that kid from calling it like, or reaching out at midnight, you know? Like somehow it starts to learn through that, like connecting APIs and that. I don't know, I just feel like there could be something there.
Of course, and I think this is a really cool landscape. I think what Magnolia Ed is doing, I think they have a wonderful company there. And I think this is something that neatly slots into a lot of learning systems, a lot of task management systems. And I think it's something that, combined with other learning strategies, can definitely be beneficial to students in a lot of ways.
Do you have any intellectual property protection?
So
Something that can get protected?
So I am planning on filing a trademark. Right now, focus has been primarily on development and investment, but I am planning to file a trademark on the name and the image, and then I do also have a provisional patent, which I have some indications could be successful in the full patent process of this overall flow and how it imports, how it's managed, and how the assignments are actually put into that list. And I think that is something that could be protectable. But obviously there's a lot of cost associated with that, and at this stage it's been more cost effective to pursue development and pursue expanding the app. Thank you.